Hello, hello, hello. Guys, welcome. Forgive the loudness. It's a little warm in my craft room right now, so I have both my fans on. Um, so, hopefully they're far enough away from the good old microphone that it doesn't completely drown everything else out, but yeah, it's warm in here. So this is a reminder, this was last week's, and last week's prompt was photo. This week is typography. I had to look up. I don't know if anybody else. If you don't know what typography is, think about the old school ransom notes where they cut letters out of a magazine and they piece all the letters together, and you've got the different heights and the different fonts, and it's all like jumbled mixy uppy. That's typography. Now, in the general idea, or the pointed idea of it, I guess is better, it is used, you're using different type styles, different fonts, sizes, etc., to create a message. So it would be using and creating actual words and phrases like the ransom note, for example. But I was also, when I was Googling images, I was like, oh, so like the little word, I don't know if, so like say your word is, addiction. It's got like a bubble, and it's got all kinds of words about addiction, recovery, rehab, detoxification, acute, just things that are related to that, and it's all housed within like a bubble, a word bubble type thing. That came up as part of the typography as well as stuff like this. And I have this in my stash. And initially I thought, well, I've already got something already set up. I can just use it. It's almost the size. I'd have to trim some off. Obviously, I'd have to either trim that off, or center it and trim a little off of both sides. But I'm like, then I'm creating waste that I would probably want to try to save. And I really like this. I want to make sure that I have this original somewhere. This one has been coffee dyed. I don't know if you can see the staining on the back. Like right here, you can see where was wet and it dried. A little bit of coffee staining, tea stain. Could have even been tea. I'm not sure. But I want to make sure that I have the original of that before I use it. It just happened to be sitting on my desk. Which was ironic when you think about it. But instead, what I decided to do was I pulled out my die cuts, and I've got several different kinds. I've got these this was actually the first time I'd actually dove in to this bag. These came in, check these out. See, I haven't even looked at them all. Those are cool. They got like fancy letters, as well as like these kind of letters. Just all kinds of funness. This was in a box of goodies that I bought. I believe I got these on Marketplace. I like how I did discover these I have to use without the shim in it. So I will be playing with these a little more. I think my next item that I'm going to do for my Etsy shop is going to be a set of letters and numbers. Letters and or numbers. Utilizing all three of the stuff that I have. So I have those. I have this die set, which cuts out little letters like this, like skinny ones. And then I have these little dies. And this is uppercase, lowercase of one style, uppercase, lowercase of one style. So A through Z, there's 2 sets, upper and lower. And then toward the back, there's 1 through 0, 0 through 9, and then symbols. So those are, could be fun to do as sets for my Etsy shop. Because not everybody has, numbers and letters available to them. So just a in passing thought. So I have cut out a bunch of letters. I've backed them onto squares just to go with that feel, And this is going to be the background of my project this week. I did kind of get my glue going for the most part before I hit record because, surprise, surprise. What I did do last night? Went to bed, left my glue open. So this is just, I'm, randomly, this is not even straight, which is going to make it try to make that straight. But yeah, I just kind of glued, I'm going to glue these down as the base of my work here. We're going to hope that we're going to see how well things can fit together here. Da, 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 da. Now, I probably could have spent some time like measuring these out. See, like that's a skinny and I know nothing's gonna fit right there. So yeah, I'll have to figure that out. Let's see. I do have some extra letters. I got some extra letters here, and I've got these circles with letters cut out of the center of them that I can use also. But we'll see where we go with those. Trim this down a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, my glue's starting to blurble. Ah! So as I was looking up what the word typography was and what it really is, I was like, hey, you know what that reminds me of? This reminds me of my brain. If you've watched my videos and haven't picked up on it yet, I am ADHD. And so sometimes my brain's a little scattered. Is that a good enough word? Cattywampus, as my dad would say. So it's kind of where I'm going with things today is where my brain takes itself on a journey of confusion, trying to take things one step at a time and unsuccessfully doing so, having to, take things off of my plate in order to like get anything completed. Just, different aspects of the joys of ADHD. But yeah, when I was looking at Googling images of typography, I'm like, hey, that looks like my brain. It's like, yeah, kind of feels like my brain, for sure. Let's see. And I cut out extras because, I didn't know how much I was going to need. I didn't measure ahead of time, so, it's like, do I have enough to cover? I think so, but just in case. Let's have some extras, just in case. The L fit right there. The L will fit right there. I don't know, in some kind of... Oh, that's not even an L, that's a 7. Boop. Let's turn that the right way. Now, keep in mind, I don't have to fill all the spaces. I'm actually kind of liking having some white space in there. That's what I started to say before I realized my L was not an L and it's actually a 7. Come on. Not sure what my glue just decided to do to me there. Got a 6. As you saw, I trimmed a little bit off of there, and that's just to make it fit a little nicer into a little tiny spot. Let's go this way. I can make it a 9. That way it's not a 6 up against a 6. Maybe. Or the X. Then I have that space down there. Might be able to trim this enough. Okay. My bottle has also sprung another leak. So each time when I'm squeezing it, I'm losing air. Or, I'm not getting the pressure pushing the glue out the nozzle because air is releasing out the hole. I think I want no white space. So I'll have a little bit of white space there, a little bit there, and then I'll have this over here. So I'm going to go with this one. Just got to figure out where I can squeeze where it's covering. Where I'm covering the hole. getting enough pressure behind the glue. Now that right now is just defeating the purpose of having it in a sugar belt icing bottle, because I'm having to squeeze that really hard, which is the whole point of transferring the glue into that bottle, is not having to squeeze it like that in order to get my glue out. Just gonna trim this ever so slightly. So yes, we are week 21. In case I think I forgot to say that. We're on week 21 of the hashtag Altered Index 2025. It's so fun. I kind of like it like that. I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna cover it. So I have just some stuff cut out of a magazine where I'm like, yep, that's kind of, yep, of things that I feel kind of represent my brain. And I have a lot of them out. I don't know how many I'm going to use, because, I mean, there's only so much space on the 3x5 card. Yeah, 3x5 on my, or was that a 4x6? I dislike these scissors. They like to, if I go all the way, they automatically lock. Bugs me. See, I think this is going to be too big. Ooh, my fan's blowing it. Let's see, if I did that, it's going to cover up, like, you know, almost all of it. So I'm going to leave it in there. So some of these, yes, it's going to cover up, but go with one go, although I'm usually go until I crash and burn. It's kind of where I was this weekend. I hit the crash and burn. So this one here says, do you believe in elves? Which is kind of a an inner joke that my daughter and I have, because she also is ADHD. So we kind of talk a lot about like the random thoughts that come into our head at night when we're actually trying to sleep. Like, you know, we're really tired, we're in bed, we're almost out, and then all of a sudden it's like, do crabs have ears? Stuff like that. So I thought that was, do you believe in elves? It's like, that's one of those things that's like, well, you can't really just ask that question and then move on. It's like, that's going to cause some deep thought, which probably would be one of those questions that would interfere with my sleep. Do I, don't I? And I'd have to justify it one way or the other. And I'm not going to think about it right now because. So there's my go. Go, 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 go. My brain goes and goes and goes and goes until I'm crash and burn. This one says one less, which is a CBT approach that I've tried many times to incorporate into my life, and I've been unsuccessful at doing so, is tasking myself with just one less thing. When I make my list of things to do that day, do one less. Take one thing off. And see if that helps me not feel so overwhelmed. But it hasn't worked for me so far, because what usually happens is I take one thing off and 3 more things get added on. So at the end of the day, I'm still just as overwhelmed, if not more overwhelmed than I was when I woke up that morning. So then now playing Backyard Flicks. That's kind of another, hello, squirrel. It's like, should I be thinking about movies? No. Should I be thinking about backyards? No. I'm supposed to be filing my taxes. Why am I looking at squirrel pictures on the internet? You know? But that is who I am. And I was just realizing one of the things that I had planned to do before I stuck those on, which unfortunately I didn't think about until just this very moment, is I was going to do some little splatters. If I can do this without splattering myself. That was a mess and a half last night. I was doing some painting, and before I even got things started, I shook up the purple, shook it up, and as soon as I popped the top, it went and it squirted a bunch of paint out right onto my pants. Right onto my pants. I'm like, excuse me? Did that really just happen? I guess it did. It really did just happen. So again, just using some paint, acrylic paint, added some water into it, and that's just to thin it down so that it will splatter a little better. I don't have my splatter paper out, so I want to save that. I liked that image. Let's use one of these book pages. And I'm going to try to control the splatter since I'm not on a big space. And I don't want my sayings to be obscured so much. You can kind of, in a way, control where your paint goes by which direction your fan brush is facing. But it's paint and it's splattering, so sometimes it's going to go where it wants. Let's just experiment while I'm here, since I got paint out. I'm not that kind of an artist. This kind of stuff is about the stretch of my creativity. I do like doing the collaging and that kind of stuff, but drawing, painting, stuff like that, I've got to have a base. But I'm not even like coloring, like to have a coloring page and sit down with like markers and stuff. I don't enjoy that. Set those off to the side for a moment so I can get this up out of the way. Pull this back in. I got paint paint splatters. So I'll have all these extra. I'm going to go ahead and just put them in the basket because who knows when I'll need them. If I'll ever need them. Never really know. Next week's prompt for this is trees. I have some ideas in mind for that. Utilizing stencils as well as die cuts. I'm gonna hit this with some heat. A little bit more glue under there. Okay. Do I need any under there? Yes, I do. Did not get my corners very well. So this has sprung a leak before. That's what this, I've got tape or Post-it note and then tape all around. My crack in my bottle is under there. You can see where the glue has leaked through before, but now it's sprung an air leak. So I think there's got enough glue up underneath my tape that is now escaping. So I have to decide if I'm just going to give up on this bottle finally and switch bottles. If I put that yellow sticker up against the palm of my hand, I don't get the air leakage. That makes it so my glue doesn't want to come out. Just checking all my corners there. I'm feeling like even though my sayings are there, I'm still feeling like I need a central focal point. I don't know what. Zog. Hog, jog, fog. Fog would be work, would be work. fog would work since that's what my brain is usually in. No, I don't like that. Let me see. I have one of my flower books at arm's reach. I would want something tall and skinny, if anything. I don't want to cover up my "Do you believe in elves?" Because I think that really is one that epitomizes my thought processes a lot of times. I forget who these are. I'd have to look. Maybe the one smaller, but it's not cut out. Ooh. Don't get caught and rip. Those are kind of fun. And go just above the now plane. Now that that is somewhat dry, I'm going to take this. Some ink. I'm going to knock back that white. And this, in sort of a weird way, kind of like put some ink on the edges that are a little darker. In a lot of ways, because as you're going up, it's catching these bottom edges and giving it some hueing. That sort of back. There we go. Put these back. Where did I want to cut this? So right there. I can put this back in my book because I can use that. And then this. thinking I could do glue stick, but it's going over some pretty bumpy road, so go ahead and use the Fabrifix. Just so I can make sure it actually sticks. Come on. Like right there. A little bit extra glue. Oh, I gotta dip out. That's not what I meant. Punch out this little hole right here too. I don't know, it's like that D in my brain. I don't know. Again, it's my brain. It's just my brain. So there we go. There's week 21 of Altered Index 2025. Prompt is a typography. Next week will be trees. So thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace out.